Hey there, finals are right around the corner, so let's do a quick review of several methods of factoring. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with a quadratic that does not have a coefficient for the x squared. When I'm facing something like this, I'm going to go ahead and use what's called the x method. And all that the x method does is it gives me a way to organize my thinking. Because in factoring, what I'm always looking to do is to figure out how to break it into two binomials that will multiply to my trinomial here. And what happens when I go ahead and multiply this out is I get x squared plus bx plus ax plus ab. And when I put this whole thing together, I get my x squared term, my coefficient of my x, right? That's going to be bx plus ax, or a plus bx. And then my final term, my 48, my number term, is going to be ab. So what the x method does is it gives me a quick way to remember that I am looking for two numbers that multiply to my numerical, to my c term, and two numbers that add to the coefficient of my x, to my b term. So in the x method, I make an x on the page and I put my c, or my number only term, on top, and I put my b, the coefficient of my x, on the bottom. And now I'm asking myself what multiplies to negative 48 but adds to 8. So I see that I'm multiplying to a negative. That only happens when I have one negative and one positive. And now I'm going to ask myself what things multiply to 48. For me, the easiest way to do that is to make a quick factor list. So that's 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, and 6 and 8. And now I'm going, okay, well, which of these would come together to be an 8? Not 1 and 48, not 2 and 24. 16 and 3, if I make one of those negative and one of those positive, that only gets me a 13. 4 and 12, if I make one negative and one positive, that gets me the 8. And since my b is positive, my positive has to overpower my negative. That means my larger value is my positive and my smaller value is my negative. If this 8 were negative, then I would need my negative to overpower. So I would flip those two. Now, because my x had no coefficient, when I complete my x method here, that is my a and that is my b. So my final factors here are x minus 4 and x plus 12. And it doesn't matter which is a or b, they're interchangeable. So let's say my problem says 6x squared plus x minus 12. I can still use the x method, but I'm going to show you a second method called slide and divide that I like to use when my x squared has a coefficient. The first step of slide and divide is the slide part. I'm going to slide this 6 into this negative 12 and multiply them together. This equation is just part of our way toward solution. We're going to remember that we have to come back and deal with that 6. But our next step here is to factor this equation that now doesn't have an x squared. I'm going to use the x method I just showed you. What multiplies to negative 72 but adds to 1, I notice that I'm multiplying to a negative, so I know I need one negative and one positive. By the way, if you're multiplying to a positive, what are your options in terms of the signs here? That's correct. It can either be two positives or two negatives, so you have to check out what the sign of this guy is. Now I'm going to make my factor list for 72. I need factors that are only one apart, right? They have to add to 1. So nope, 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 and yay. I need it to end up being positive, so my larger one is my positive. My smaller one is my negative. Now, I had a coefficient here. This is not my final answer, but it's a step along the way. The next step in slide and divide is the divide part. Now I have to take this 6 that I slid into my negative 12 to make my negative 72, and now I need to divide it out of each of these factors. Divide it into the negative 8, divide it into the 9. Now here's the magic. I'm going to reduce each of these. If either of these reduced to an integer, that would be the completed factor. When either of these reduces to a fraction, my final step is to multiply that denominator into the x. And now I've achieved my final factorization, 3x minus 4, 2x plus 3. And if I were to multiply that back out, the 3x times the 2x gets me my 6x squared. 3x times 3x is 9x. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x, coming together to be positive x. And finally, negative 4 times positive 3 gets me 12. So that's how the slide and divide method can help me when I have a coefficient of my x squared. Let's take a look at another problem. 3x squared plus x minus 10. I could use my slide and divide method. Let me show you how to use the x method if you have a coefficient of your x squared. Instead of just putting our c up top here, we have to actually put a times c. And here's the hint. It has always been a times c. It's just in the other problems, the x squared coefficient was a 1. So a times c was just c. But now we have our a is a 3. So 3 times negative 10, negative 30. And down here, we still have our b, which is 1. So we're asking what multiplies to negative 30 adds to 1, multiplying to a negative. 1 is negative, 1 is positive. Factor list. Okay, which of these will add up to a 1 if one of them's negative and one of them's positive? Not this, not this, not this. 5 and 6, sure, we need our middle term to be positive. Our bigger term will be positive. Positive 6 and minus 5 will add up to that 1. But we're not done, because if we just went ahead and did x minus 5 and x plus 6, those would not FOIL back into a 3x. So what we do with these two numbers, what we've really discovered is the middle two terms of our multiplying out our factors. So we're going to write out all 4 terms of the FOIL. The first one is our first term here. Our middle 2 terms, these are the coefficients of our x terms, right? There's the minus 5x plus the 6x to get us our x, and then our final term is that minus 10. And now we factor by grouping. So all we're doing is we're saying, okay, this is a group plus this is a group. Now factor the biggest thing out of each of these groups. Well, a 3x squared minus a 5x, the largest common factor is an x. So we can rewrite this term as x times 3x minus 5, right? That's the same thing. There's our 3x squared and our minus 5x. Plus, and now same thing, what's our largest common term here? A 2. So now here's your check. What is inside the parentheses must be the same. If it's not, you've done something wrong, stop, go back. But if it's the same, now with this term and this term, they have a 3 minus 5 in common, so I can factor that out of each term. And I'm left with 3x minus 5 times x plus 2 as my factorization. Now let me show you right next to it how the slide and divide method would also work on this problem. So step 1, I slide x squared plus x minus 30. Next, I factor. That should look kind of familiar, but I'm not done because I haven't incorporated the coefficient of that x squared. So I start by dividing each of my numbers by it. X minus 5 over 3, x plus 6 over 3. I'm going to reduce each of them. This one doesn't reduce further, but this one does. And remember what I said, if it reduces to an integer, we're done. If it doesn't, we multiply that denominator into the x. And so whether you do the x method and factoring by grouping, or you do the slide and divide, you get the same factorization. Okay, so let's say my question is x squared minus 12x plus 2. So if I were to go ahead and get started, I don't see a coefficient, so I'm going to use the x method. Multiplies to 2, adds to negative 12. I'm starting to get suspicious. I make my factor list. 2 and 1, there's no way. This is not rational. So recourse number 1 is let's take a look at completing the square. So completing the square goes like this. First, I'm going to separate the plus 2 out of the way. Okay, great. Now I'm going to complete the square. And what that means is I'm going to create a perfect square out of this first part of the equation. To do that, I'm going to take the coefficient of my x. I'm going to divide it in half. I'm going to square it, -6 squared plus 36. I have just created the perfect square of x minus 6 squared. And before I forget that, I'm going to go ahead and write it in that form. Now, I added 36. So to balance everything, I need to subtract 36. So that is my factorization. Now, if I want to find my solutions, that means setting things equal to 0. And so now I'm going to go ahead and keep solving by bringing this 34 over to this side of the equation. And now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Don't forget that when you square root, you get a plus or a minus. And my final step is I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So x equals 6 plus or minus the square root of 34. Those are my two solutions. This would be considered my factorization. Now, there is always another option, no matter what you're looking at with a quadratic, and that is to use the quadratic formula. So let's go ahead and take this as our example and show how using the quadratic formula gets you the same thing. So I'm going to leave this here. This was our answer, but here we go with the quadratic formula. If you don't have this committed to memory, put it on a flashcard, look at it every morning when you wake up, every evening when you go to sleep. Check out my video where I put it to a song, but learn this formula, it's important. And now we're going to go ahead and put our numbers in. Okay, so negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Negative 12 is 12. Plus or minus the square root of 144 minus 8 over 2. Okay, 144 minus 8 is 136. If I factor 136, I get 2 times 2 times 34. I remember the way square roots work. If I have 2 of a factor under the square root sign, that means I have 1 of them on the outside. So that becomes 12 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 34. Now, if I am dividing everything by 2, this is a plus or a minus, so I am dividing both of those terms by the 2, leaving me with 6 plus or minus the square root of 34, 6 plus or minus the square root of 34. And there you have, in this video, 4 different ways to approach factoring. Okay, leave any questions you have for me in the comments. Consider subscribing to my channel so you know when I put out a new video. And as always, keep on mathing.